Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Annette Bolsh, and I decided to put on this YouTube channel because I was tired of not being able to find any older woman talking about my kind of sexuality. It's always these gorgeous young things, and yes, beautiful as they are, I just can't always relate to them as a 63-year-old woman who still wants to be sexual. Who not only wants to be sexual, but wants to embrace her sexuality to the fullest extent possible, where she is still able to become fully alive, fully empowered, to still have that sparkle in her eye and that spring in her step as she walks down the street, as she goes to speak to someone, so that she's no longer invisible. That's my interest in sexuality. And I've been interested in my sexuality for a very long time because I began my life in an abusive relationship for the first 13 years. And so I really wanted to discover what was real sex actually about, not abusive sex. And as someone who had an eating disorder for many years too, I wanted to feel what it was like to be outside of that shame bubble that I used to live in. I wanted to know what it felt like to feel fully ecstatic, to feel pleasure from the tips of my toes to the top of my head. I wanted to know what life was really all about when I wasn't living from my woundedness. And I didn't discover the real tools until much later in my life, so that's why I'm passionate about older women connecting to this part of themselves unapologetically, unashamedly, not trying to fit into some pornographic role model, or not needing to be a good girl anymore and be there for everyone else, and to not be able to connect to her own poor, misused, abused body, to not be able to heal her numbness, her shut downness, her dried upness, her inability to feel, pleasure, her inability to really love herself. That's what my sexuality is all about, and what I'm going to be offering on my Wise Woman Sexuality YouTube channel is not just about pleasure. It will absolutely be about pleasure, all kinds of pleasure, from whether it's orgasms in my heart or in my cervix or anywhere else in my body, and how to be empowered in looking for that, and how to heal some of the wounding that we might carry as older women particularly, and how to really open up our life force energy in all parts of our lives. I'm really wanting to help women discover their inner magic, because that's what happens with a woman's sexuality. It's not just pleasurable, it's also magical. And this magic happens on many different levels. It's a multidimensional experience. And what that does is it helps her to see and to know who she really is when she's in her groundedness, her truth, her power. That's what sexuality can be. Yes, it can be pleasure, and it can be so much more. And it can help a woman feel integrated and whole and beautiful, and help her to find beauty and pleasure in all different aspects of her life, whether it's in her business plan or her relationships, or just in her connection to herself. And I'll also be occasionally sharing wisdom from my long-term partner, Graham, who's been working with me in tantric sexuality for the last 20 years. And he occasionally has some words of wisdom that I might include here. And also feedback from women who I've worked with over the last 20 years who've been, like me, wanting to discover the more, about sexuality that we're really capable of. So I'd love you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and tune in every Sunday for a new piece of wisdom and pleasure and excitement and good things each week.